Hi, Ann Cornick from Paint and Porcelain and Paint and Porcelain Exchange, and today we're going to finish up our basket, our rose basket. This is my first fire on the rose basket, so you can kind of see how I did on it and on the top. But when I did my washes and everything for this time, can you see what the problem is? This is how it came out. Anybody see what the problem is? It's a big problem. I wanted it to stay light and airy like this. So that's not I don't mind the leaves, not so much. It's that there wasn't enough. I didn't wipe out the highlight on the rose, on the body of it, like here and here. See how I have the bright light coming, the highlight there and the highlight here? And of course, once I painted this, I lost it. So now I'm going to try something with white paint while we're doing this to see if I can't bring it back. I did a little experimenting before I came on the air, and it looks like I can. I don't know if it'll fire that way or if it'll just fire a lighter pink, but a lighter pink would be preferable to what I have on that side. So I'm going to tip you down, and we're going to start with the roses. And this is the side I did the second fire on already. And I want to take and try doing a little bit of white in here to see if that's going to help. I'm just doing a white wash. I'm not going to do too much on it. I'm going to pat it a little and see if that'll bring back some of the... See, I'm missing this on there, and I'm missing it on the bottom too, down here. I've never been able to correct something where I go too far, but well, I think that does help. So I'm just gonna straighten it out so it doesn't have lines in it already. And we're gonna go to this side now. And I'm gonna do the same thing on here, because see, here, it's very bright. I don't know, yeah, you can kind of see that there, it's very bright. And I want to do the same thing here. I should have realized that I would lose a lot of the highlight, and I want it back. There. Okay. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do. Now I'm going to turn this way and show you what I did that, oops, that's, let me get something under the end here so that we don't get on top of what I just painted. So with this, I'm just going to do a dark wash. I'm not doing much because I really like this, but I just thought it needed a little depth. And I have my American Beauty, and I think that's part of it. I'm not a big fan of dark pinks or dark rubies. I'm not a big fan of those. So for me, using those is not something I do very often. And I was trying with these last couple of projects to sort of teach myself a little more about it. But see here, I'm just going to put it on the bottom. Look at the difference that makes. And a little maybe right here. But I'm not going to do a huge, big thing on it because I don't really want that much of the dark. I just want a little. So just pull a little in here. You're only touching up, Pull a little there. You might want to smear that out a little bit. I'm afraid to turn this too much because I don't know if I'm going to stay in focus, but there you go. And then I washed this side, because I thought, well, that should help it. And then I like to wash and then pull out the highlights and pull out the color, because I think it just gives it a little deeper tone. I'm using my stump, and I'm just going to go around the edges and do the stump a little bit. The stump comes out very clean, doesn't leave any lines. So if you do use this, it can help you. And you can use the side of it, this part of it here, this side of it, to really bring back some of the perhaps some of the color that you put on. Then I went back and I darkened my leaves. I didn't touch these too much, except this little guy out here. I did touch him. I just made him a little bit darker because I wanted to have the same colors. But these leaves I didn't touch, and the main reason I didn't touch them was because I wanted them to be just light and airy. I'm using a dark green. What is a stump? Okay, this is a stump. They come in various sizes. Here's a skinny one. They're like a roll of cardboard. They come in a case, and they come in different sizes. And you can use them to wipe out. Now, I wasn't a fan of them, and then I became a fan of them. But then I had trouble cleaning them. So they sell these, but you can also use regular sanding paper. This is a sandpaper. You see it's well used. And what you do is, let me move this out of the way for a minute. What you do is you tear off one of these pages on the sandpaper here, and then you get a fresh one. And when you clean the stump, you just go one direction and you turn it as you go one direction, like that, and sand it until all the dark or most of the dark gets off. That's good enough right there. Okay? And then you do the other side the same way. And you can see the dark on there? When that's gone, then you know it's okay to use. The dark you see is a combination of your paints and your oils. Okay, so that should be pretty good now. See if I move over? There's nothing on there. And these things, you know how when you use an eraser, you get that buildup of paint there? Well, I didn't want the buildup of paint there. And this, well, wait, before I do that, let me show you this here. Okay, so here's a tile, right? And I'm going to put a bunch of color on it. Bunch of color, okay? And the stump, you can use it a couple of different ways. You can get them at Dick Blick, which is an art store. They're used with pastels. You probably could also get them at an art supply like maybe Hobby Lobby or Michael's. And what you can do is, see, you can cut out like that. So if you want to, you can use the side of it like this to pull up the color. See how I use the side of it to pull up the color? And it works well. It works pretty well on bisque, but it works better on this kind of thing. And then when you get ready to clean it, you just see that big part there. I would just go like this. There. One direction only, and it comes right off. So, okay, so I just did that there, and now I'm going to go and I'm just going to put some dark around here, maybe make some of these leaves a little more apparent. So I'm just going to put a little dark in here. And remember, when you're doing your leaves, you can cut into the rose a little bit and add a little bit of that. And then, see, I use my stump like this. If it got in too far, can wipe it out. Works really well. And I'm just going around because I really like the way that this, I'm trying to get it there, the way that this came out. So I don't want to disturb it too much, but I do want to add just a little more color to it. And then I'm going to do it over here. Now I'm doing a full load of like a warm brown green and a side load of spruce. And I'm going to turn it around this way, and I'm going to do it down here and just come in here. And you can pull it across if you want to make a little bit of green shadow on here too. That always works pretty well. If you want to do that, you can do that. But I'm just adding in a little bit more color. That's all I'm doing, because when you get this loaded with grass and stuff, you need a little more color on here so it can hold its own. And then I'm going to flip it around. and do my ends. So here, let's talk about that. So to do a rose leaf, you take your colors, you pull from you pull from the outside to the center, stop. From the center to the outside again, stop. Flip it. And then you're going to just put the edge on like this. Oops, need a little color on my brush there, like that. That one's a little dark. You can play with it this way by pulling the color off like this. You can also pull your color off with the side of a big stump like this. So if you needed to pull the color off, you could play with it a little bit like that, a little bit like that. You can take some of the color off. It's kind of nice. Okay, and then up in here, I'm going to do a little, just with the warm brown green. Oops, got to get some more oil on. And we're just going to put a little more, it's biting me here, a little more warm brown green here. And I'm just suggesting leaves, so if they come out weird, I don't care, because I just wanted to suggest them here a little bit, almost like shadow leaves, but not exactly, because I had that green back there. Okay. And that's really all I was going to do on this one. I wasn't going to do anything too fancy because I really didn't want to. I kind of liked the way it looked. There, okay. Alrighty. So this is how this one came out. Let me flip it around so you can see it. All right, and then I'm going to turn to the corner here. This is my favorite rose. I love this rose. It has so much light and texture that I almost hate to wreck it, so I don't want to do too much to it. Okay, so I'm going to now take my pink with a little bit of my American Beauty, which is my darker pink. You can use any darker pink you want, and I'm just adding a little bit of color back there, not doing much. And like I said, on this side, I just want to, I don't want to put too much color in because I really don't like this pink too much, the darker pink too much at all, the American Beauty. I don't like to use pinks and purples when I'm painting, period. So it always makes it more difficult when you're using colors that you're not fond of, you know? Just because they're grainy, they don't always go on the right way for me. And I think that's the reason a lot of people hate roses, is because of the colors. The colors can be very stubborn. Okay, I'm doing this upside down, and I just wanted to get some depth in there. Let me just put it in and turn it around and see what I've got. Okay. I'm going to wipe a little of it out. There we are. Okay, and then on this side, I did want a little more depth. I want some here. I want some here. Yep. So let me just, I'm going to do a little bit of a wash right in here. You don't have to wash the whole rose either. And here I have a couple of, you can't see them, but I've got a cut right there. And I think I'm just going to wash that section and then pull those out. Okay, let's see what it looks like. I'm using my little stump. Here I'm just going to use the side of it. Yeah, that's good. Here I'm just going to use the side of it a little. Okay. I like that. I think I'm going to put a little bit of the pink up in here, just so it cuts into the top a little. Okay, now see, I'm not touching this anymore. I like that just the way it is. You have to hold it back. Could use a little more here. I think it needs a little more at the base. And a real dark base there, that's better. It needs just a tad up in here. Okay. Now I'm going to go to the green. Then let it set overnight. This is the other thing I was going to tell you is let it set overnight. Don't throw it right in the kiln. I made the mistake of throwing it right in the kiln, and if I had left it set overnight, would I have caught that? I don't know, but I would have hoped so. A little blue here. I kind of think I like the blue because I've got the blue up on top, you know. That might be a little too much blue. Oops. There. Let's go back and try it again. That's better. And then we'll put the darker green down here. Yeah. Maybe 2 in a row is 1 too many. Alrighty. Okay. And then down in here, I'm going to add a little, oh, whoa. I'm going to add a huge blob of dark green. Okay. Just when that happens, just keep playing with your brush and wiping it off on your towel until you get it just the way you want it. That's why it's usually good to do a side load with another color because it can help you not overpower yourself there like that did. Alrighty, and I'm going to turn these around. And I'm just going to do the edges on them. There they are, there they are, there they are. Now I need a little bit over in here. Turning it a little bit. I'm just going to put maybe one here. Oh, need a little oil. You don't even need a leaf there. You just need a little more green, and that'll set off your rose. There we go. And I might just fake a leaf here by doing this. No, I kind of liked it better when it was just a fake leaf. Okay. And this is the rose petal there. There, okay. All right. And that, oh, and I want to take and, I want to take and add a little bit of the dark pink to this over on this side. So let me see here. How do I go this way? So you can see a little bit of the dark pink there, just to bring it into the color scheme. Okay. So this is this. This is this. I'm going to take that off and play with the white like you suggested. And now I can put it down and I don't have to move it as much. Yay, and we're doing the top. The top of this touched the top of the kiln, so I have a little repair to do. You have to be really careful when you're putting things in your kiln because you can bump them. This is probably just a really good exercise in all the things that can go wrong when you're trying to paint. Trying to fire something and get it out the door. I have a, oh no, that came right off, okay. Starting with my leaves. I'm using Celadon full load, partial load of the warm brown gray just to bring back these leaves because they kind of faded out. I'm doing them the same as rose leaves. I'm just making them a little longer. You can add blues if you have a blue somewhere else. You can add a brown if you have no brown anywhere, but you just need a little bit of shadowness. See, that was one. You didn't even know that was there, did you? Because it really got messed up. Then I'm doing my forget-me-nots now. Oops, hang on. I found the end of this leaf. I stopped too soon. I just found it. It's right here. Okay, that's better. All right. Okay, so these little guys, what I like to do a lot of times on the second fire, I'm going to take my blue-black, my dark blue, I'm full loading with those, and I'm side loading with like a baby blue, and I'm just okay, putting the color on. Didn't plan this, so let's see how it turns out. Using my small stump, I'm going to wipe out the first guy. 1, 2, this is the center here. 3, 4, 5. Okay, he's been wiped out. And then I have one over here. And I have one down here. And then I have all these little guys. And I'm going to create them if they aren't there already, by just doing kind of a negative space thing and putting them in. Is that the yellow? I think that's the yellow. This is the yellow. Now hang on. I don't know. This may or may not work. If it doesn't work, it's my fault. I'm going to put the yellow centers in. There's one over here somewhere. It's lost now. I'm going to put little dots of red. You know, we do those little dots of red. I don't know why we do them, but we do. I think it's just to give it extra color, because if you ever look at a forget-me-not, and I have a whole front yard full of them because I love them, they don't really have a lot of red in them. But we do it, so I'm making this more impressionistic. See how big that one dot came out? Here's another place where this stuff comes in handy. Okay, stump. And then I want to do these guys out here because one of them got kind of messed up. So we'll take a little bit of brown green, and I'm using my baby brush. This one's way too big. There. Okay, now this is my secret weapon. The last thing I do on this is I take my darkest blue, which is my blue black, and I just decide which end is under, and I boop, boop, boop. Give it a little depth in the middle. There we go. These little teeny tiny itty bitty brushes are very forgiving. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I want a little bit of dark blue right here to cover this guy. He's just too... Oh, come here, you. There he's go. Pull him out a little bit. These two can be the two major ones, and then we'll let the others go. Here's the other one. Oh, too much. Just to bring it out a little. Lost my red dots, didn't I? And there's one over here. Good. Okay. Put those darn red dots back in. And then we'll put the centers in these. Well, let's start with that. Here. We're just going to... I'm just going to put the center vein in. I'm not doing a whole lot with those because I looked at them. They don't really have much. And let's get the red dot back in on these guys. They should be around the side. I put one in the middle. Oh well, make sure you sign. I think that's okay. Alrighty, well, I think you can see here. I wanted to do the band on here. And I think what I'm going to do is do it in Mother of Pearl. There we go. Okay. So now I've got this edge, and I'm just going to paint that edge. And I'm just going to paint around the outside rim. So here. I'm going to paint around the rim. This is how it ended up, sort of. I'm still, you can see I still have spots here where it's thick, and that's because I didn't do it the way I should have. Normally, I would set it down and really do a nice job on the ground so that I didn't have to play with it. It will not be pink, it will be clear, almost like a clear, and it will go all the way around. And it should be pretty nice when it's fired. And I will have to play with this piece a little bit because I've got things on here that I've been touching and I shouldn't have touched. It's hard to paint a basket and show you how to paint a basket is what it boils down to. But this is the side that we did today, I believe. So pick up those brushes, keep painting. Hope to see you next time. Bye-bye. I hope you enjoyed the program. And I hope you'll take a minute to subscribe so that other people can learn more about China painting and we can get the word out to more people. You also can look at the links below. My Paintnporcelain.com website has a lot of freebies and printables for new and experienced painters, as well as studies, supplies, and even some of my hand-painted china. So thank you again, and I'll see you next time.